And now.
That's the middle shot. He scores! Slips it off to Wyatt Matthews. He's in! Eagles take the lead!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Welcome to Sports Talk, the number one sports podcast in the Philadelphia area. Come on out here, Brodes. This episode of Sports Talk with Brodes is brought to you by Sports R Philly. Sports R Philly contains a wide variety of great blogs across the Philadelphia area. You can follow them on Twitter at Sports R Philly or check out their website, www.sportsrphilly.com.
We are here for another episode of Sports Talk with Brodes. I just want to give a shout out to my boy Dan, who's helping me a lot with this YouTube stuff. It's a really great gesture. I appreciate it, and let's keep this thing growing. Now, this episode of Sports Talk with Brodes, episode 15, it is brought to you by Sports R Philly. You can check them out on Twitter at Sports R Philly or their website, www.sportsrphilly.com. Myself, where to find me on Twitter, at sportsandbrodes. And to call in, yes, you can call in. Use a voice recording app on your phone, record your point, and send it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. So let's kick it off. I have some stats. I have some questions. I have a this or that hypothetical segment, as always. But to kick it off, let's go with a question. First, this is a question, a solid question. What makes the NFL so addicting? Why is it that my Sundays, I look forward to Sundays like it's Christmas? When I'm on the ice for hockey, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world for those 2.5 hours. It doesn't. Same with any athlete. When it comes to basketball on the floor, same thing. Football, when you're on the field, nothing else matters. I feel the same way when I'm watching the Eagles. Football, in general, those Sundays all day long, that red zone, 8 hours commercial free. When I hear that, I just escape for the day. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, damn, I got a lot of homework to do. But what are you going to do? I'm not going to not watch football, and I'm not going to do my homework during football. Get none of that done. But no, seriously, what makes it so addicting? Is it the physicality, the manliness? You know, is it the passion of these players? Because they know if they don't perform, their career could be over, just like that. It's a slow game. It's not a fast game. There's not a lot of time of play actually occurring throughout the game. It's a lot of stoppages. And it's when I always talk about this when it comes to basketball and the poetry of the game and the flow of the game. There really isn't that much flow sometimes with football. A lot of stoppages, a lot of commercials. Too many commercials. But seriously, what makes it so addicting? And I hope it's not dying. Adam Schefter even stated that he won't let his son play football if he gets more than one concussion. One concussion, it's over. And this is an NFL insider, like the biggest one. Now that to me scares me because it is so addicting and I love it. Will it still be here? Will it? I hope so. I don't know if I can live without my Eagles on Sundays. 1 o'clock. It's week 1. It is week 1. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. And to kick it off with Chiefs Patriots Thursday night. Thursday night. A little Tom Brady action, huh? What do you think we're going to see out of that game? I think we're going to see a Patriots win. I think the Chiefs have a great chance to make it a game and keep them in it. I mean, they're not going to just get absolutely blown out. I like Chiefs defense, to be honest with you. I do. Andy Reid, ex-Eagle. But no, they have a great defense. I love Eric Berry and his story about being cancer. I love Eric Berry. Great player. I don't know if Alex Smith and that offense will be able to put together something that can compete with something like Tom Brady. And now you got Dorsett coming in there. He's going to be a threat along with Cooks. That offense is going to be kind of scary. It is. It's going to be kind of scary. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for the league. Now, my Thursday. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so my Thursday, this is how it looks. Sadly, I have an 8 a.m. journalism class. Sounds horrible, doesn't it? But my first piece is I have to cover the football team of my school. Not a bad first piece, am I right? What I have to do, though, is they're ranked like 18th in the country of D3, and they just lost 33-7 to the 17th ranked team in the country. So I got to go into their coach's office, who I don't know, and ask them a bunch of questions about how the team looks so far, and who might get a little ugly. But I have my notes. I'm excited, actually. It sucks that the class is at 8 a.m., but it's a big step in the whole covering sports. I'm interviewing people and just covering sports in general, writing articles. It's big. So I'm actually excited for the class. I just hate seeing that alarm go off so early in the morning. So that is where I will be. Then I just kick back, have some coffee, relax at school, watch Sports Center for an hour. Boom, 11 o'clock, intercultural communications. Not the best class in the world, I'll be honest with you. A lot of just talking. But my professor doesn't believe in tests, so that's cool. So anyway, then I'm done at 12:15. Hockey meeting, 1:30. Hockey meeting at 1:30. Sadly, that'll be over. Class 5 to 6:15. History, boom. Back at home for the game. Oh, wow, see, that's how excited I am. I can't wait to come home, throw the backpack on the bed, take off the pants, put on some shorts, put the feet up. Maybe even crack open an IPA. Probably will. Just can't wait for the NFL. Which brings me to my next question. What do I want to get out of this NFL season? Eagles-wise, and just out of the whole season, out of the whole entire league. What do I want to get out of it? Eagles-wise, that's pretty easy, I guess, because I've talked about them so much for the anticipation. But where I'm at with them, it's pretty obvious. I just want to see improvement. I want to see Doug Peterson improve as a couple play calls here and there, and a couple plays that were drawn up. Like I always say, Carson Wentz should never be lead blocking, and that's just obvious. That should never be a play again, ever. Lombardi actually just came out with comments saying Doug Peterson, everyone knows Doug P. isn't a head coach, quote, end quote. Now, I can say that. I can say that. But don't be saying things about that. All right? I'm allowed to because he's my head coach. But who are you? I don't like that. That's like when you have like an older sister and you guys always fight or whatever. Yeah, you're allowed to. But when someone else does, it's like, yo. Yeah, you give them that look. Like, yeah, no, that's what I do. But, so Eagles-wise, I need to see our offense take a step forward, please. But we should. We definitely should. We got way more threats. And I want to see our running game. I want to see our running game explode to the next level. It needs to. I need to see our third down and short situations get better. It needs to. But I want to see improvement. 7-9 last year. I've been on the record 8-8, 9-7, and that's what I want to get out of this season. I want to see forward progress. That's what I want to see. When it comes to the players, Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson, just as a franchise, we need to advance from last year. 1 to 2 game improvement. That's what I need. My hopes aren't that high. So I feel we can do that. And then as a whole entire league, the whole league, I just want to see quality football. I don't like to see players get hurt. I want to see great games. See, one of the things I dislike, but I do like it, like people hate Thursday night games. They hate them. I kind of like them. I know the crappier games are on TV, like Jets, Bills, or something. It's like, oh man, I got to watch this. But it's Thursday night. You have something to watch. Just anything is better than nothing at all. because it's not like you're going to watch that game on Sunday. So in reality, it just gives you a chance to watch these games. But one thing that does bother me is why is Sunday night have better ratings than Monday Night Football? And that's because they put the better games on Sunday night. And that's always the argument. Oh, Monday night games suck now. But yeah, that's because they're putting the good games on Sunday night. And they're like, well, they get better ratings. Try putting those games on Monday night and you'll be getting the same ratings. I miss that. All those old ESPN commercials. They're at the water cooler at work and it's Monday and they all like, oh man, it's Monday. But they knew they had football on, you know? Something about Mondays. Monday Night Football. I want to bring that back. So as a whole league, like I said, I just want great quality football throughout the season. I want to see good players perform. I like to see dominance. Except for the Cowboys, of course. But that is where I am at with the entire league situation. So I just had my most important draft. I am in 2 leagues. One at school, and then one with my boys back home, which is for all the money. Now, the last place team has to do a butt slide on the ice. Not fun. And I got the 12th pick in the draft, the last one. So I wanted to read you off my 2 teams to see which one is better. Now, one league, which is my school league, has 10 players in it. And my one back home is 12. So obviously there's a little bit of a downgrade. So let's kick it off. Now, at first I was thinking, this is going to be horrible. Just absolutely horrible. Then I started drafting. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. Now I'm looking at it. I really don't want to do that butt slide this year. I really do not. And I'm looking at some other teams, and okay, I can hang around. But some of the top teams, it's, God, I need to do some praying. That's what I need to do. I need to do some praying. So here is my squad. I have Matt Ryan as my quarterback, Melvin Gordon and McCaffrey as my running backs. Now, what scares me there is McCaffrey is not going to be the leading running back, but he will get a lot of touches and will be a huge part of the team. But I don't know. We're going to have to see. I have Amari Cooper, which is nice, and Emmanuel Sanders as my wide receivers. Jimmy Graham is my starting tight end, but I also have Zach Ertz on the bench, which is a nice solid pickup. I like my bench on this team, but what sucks is you can't use them. My flex right now is Eddie Lacy. I have the Dolphins D and the Ravens D. I'll play the Dolphins. I have Mason Crosby, the GOAT kicker. I have Corey Davis, who is hurt right now for the Titans, but first round pick, he might be a steal. He might be a snag if he comes out to play. Seriously, though, if he really comes out, they might hold him back, I think, for a couple weeks. I was reading a story on them while I saw that he was still up. I put him over to the queue section, to queue him for when I'm up, and I'm reading up on him, and they're taking it slow. I know he's got talent. He definitely has talent, and he's on a good team. So if he comes back, he can be a huge late pickup for me. I have Sterling Shepard as well. He got hurt. I'm not sure on his situation right now, but a solid player off the bench just in case anything happens. And I have Derrick Henry on my bench. So that is where I'm at for my 12 team. Kind of scares me a little bit. Now, that brings me to my other squad, my school squad. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback. Ajayi and Dalvin Cook. Watch out for him this year. Seriously. Antonio Brown and DeAndre Hopkins. Love both of them. Kyle Rudolph at tight end. Emmanuel Sanders at the flex. Vikings D. Mason Crosby, the GOAT kicker. My bench, Abdullah, Jason Witten, Jameis Winston, Chris Hogan, Sproles, Panthers D. Now, obviously, my school has a better team, less players, but I am nervous for this butt slide, guys. I am nervous. I can't even process it because I know it's going to be me. I know it is. I'm going to get screwed. I lose money and my butt's going to get all ripped up. Which brings me to Week 1 games. I just love looking at this. Makes me so happy. It's here. It is here. 1 o'clock games are the following. Eagles at Redskins. Let's go. I'm scared, though. The Redskins have beat us 5 straight times. That's got to be mental. Got to be mental in that Birds locker room. They know. Those players who have been there know. I know they do. Jets, Bills. Weird. I just talked to them about the crappy Thursday night game. Well, they play at 1 o'clock. You have the Ravens, Bengals. Now, see, the Ravens are super close. I definitely want to go check out a game. Last year, the Eagles actually played the Ravens here in Baltimore. I didn't get a chance to go or anything. Kind of slipped my mind. My hockey team is actually going to France in December, and one of the things we're doing is fundraising at the Ravens games. So we're going to break up into groups, go down there, and fundraise a little bit and check out the game, which would be cool. I'm going to try and maybe kind of work out something where I could do some sort of live. I haven't worked it out yet. I've kind of been thinking about it, but some sort of live interaction between doing the podcast or whatever and being live at the Ravens game. And I told my coach today, I was like, listen, coach, I'm a podcaster about sports. I have to cover this. I have to cover it. I don't know if I can make it. I got to be there to watch the games. He just laughed at me, shook his head. Thought it would work. You have the Steelers, Browns. Steelers are going to smoke them. Cardinals, Lions. Jags, Texans. I'm curious to see how the Texans do this year. I feel like they have the pieces. I like their coach, Bill O'Brien. They have a great defense. And now with Deshaun Watson, you see what happens. You see what happens with them. You have the Bucs and the Dolphins. Now, the Bucs just picked up TJ Ward from the Browns. He came out and stated his cut was very unprofessional, which I am shocked to hear from someone like Elway and all that. I'm shocked. I am. But that's a huge pickup for the Bucs. This team, I've been on the record, like I've, been with a lot of things, but on the record saying this team is going to win the division and probably even win a playoff game. I have that much faith. Everyone's got to stay healthy, of course, but I have a lot of faith in that team. Then you got the Raiders, Titans. Don't put it past the Titans either. They're a growing squad too. Then we go over to the 4:05 games. And there's also a 4:25 game there too. It goes like this: Colts versus the Rams. Could care less about those. We have Seahawks, Packers. I will never forget that NFC Championship game. I believe it was 2 years back now. Seattle comes back. I remember being at the hockey rink. We had a game. The bus was leaving. The bus driver was honking the horn. You know what I said? We're waiting for this game to end. I'm not missing that. Are you serious? One of the best comebacks ever? And you think I'm going to miss it? You're waiting for me. Or leave me there. I'll Uber back to the hotel. To be honest, none of that actually happened because I would have gotten kicked off the team. So what I did was leave very professionally and then watched it on my phone on the bus. But the game after that is Panthers-Niners. I'm curious to see how the Niners are this year. They picked up Pierre Garçon. Not that that's that crazy. I almost picked him up on fantasy, but I don't trust what's going on over there, to be honest with you. So then we are at Giants-Cowboys. Now the problem with that is I'm nervous. I don't like watching those games because I don't want either team to win. I don't want to see Dez going for 30-yard catches, 50-yard catches. I don't want to see Odell Beckham. Well, maybe I do. I love Odell. But I don't want to see them succeed either. I do love him, though. He's one of my favorite receivers in the league. He's so good. Why can't the Eagles have that? T.O. Bring back T.O. I don't care. So, the 2 Monday night games, the Saints and Vikings, and I just feel like the Saints are really going nowhere, to be honest with you, and Chargers, Broncos. And that'll sum up the night. And I can't wait. I won't move. Seriously, I won't move. I might deliver Chinese food. Tell the guy to come in to my room and drop off my food there. Like, I don't want to move. I was actually thinking about this for a Shark Tank idea. Implement a toilet into the couch. Hook the plumbing up underneath the couch. You don't have to get up ever. And you don't miss football. I mean, you don't miss football. So keeping it in the NFL, though, the Bears actually are starting Mike Glennon over Trubisky. Like, why? Maybe they understand where their franchise is at right now, so they don't want to rush anything, and they know they're not in like that spot where they're, got to be doing anything that crazy in their division anyway. So let's just take it slow. Maybe that's what they're doing. They know they're in a rebuild, but you never know. Now I have another question. The question is, which of the four major sports, basketball, hockey, football, why am I drawing a blank? Baseball. I don't remember if I just said them all correctly. Anyway, which four major sport role players are the most important? Interesting question, you ask, Brodes. Why, thank you. Now, I kind of broke this down a little bit. In baseball, it's really not that. It's a big part. Obviously, you need people who don't play every single night to come out and be a big piece in double headers, all that stuff. It's still a big player to have in baseball, but it's not as important. So I'm going to scratch that off. Now, football is questionable because there are a lot of injuries in football, and you never know what's going to happen, and you always need players ready. But once again, I still don't think it is as effective as the other ones. I could be crazy, but hear me out. You lose your starting quarterback. Now, I know this is the quarterback position, but you lose your starting quarterback. Most of the teams are like, it's over now. Wherever they were, it's kind of over. Look at Oakland last year. Derek Carr gets hurt. Over. I mean, you can see it every year. But so let's move on to basketball. Now, you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers last year and their bench and how pathetic it is compared to Golden State's bench. Iggy having a night of his life in Game 5. I mean, basketball role players get more time than any other sport. Now, I will play devil's advocate with hockey. Because you look at a team like the Pittsburgh Penguins the last 2 years. Their third, fourth line role players help out their first and second line. Crosby can take an extra shift off to gain some energy back, get some water in him, get some rest, because you have guys like Nick Bonino out there who you trust to not get scored on. Now, to bring that back in perspective into the baseball and football, your role players in hockey and basketball still play every day. In baseball, not so much. It's more of like a pinch hitting situation or, like I said, a doubleheader. So it is a little different. But I think basketball and hockey are like tied. I really do. Sean Livingston coming off Golden State's bench. I mean, Iggy is their big name guy who comes off their bench. The Cavs have no one. And look how much it hurt them. When LeBron's off the floor, they have no one. That's because he's the greatest ever. Who said that? Let's go to this or that. Now, this time it's a little different. I still have 5 sets of options, but some of them are sports hypothetical and not so much just this or that. But the first one is, so let's kick it off with number 1. Would you rather win the NIT or just make it to the NCAA tournament and lose? Tournament. Does anyone care about the NIT and if you win it? No, not really. Would be cool, senior year, whatever. Still rather lose first round to a team in the NCAA tournament. That's the big goal. You're on CBS. You're on TBS. You're on TNT. 12 o'clock. Even if you're on a team like Albany who plays Duke first round, 116. I'd rather have that. That's the big thing. The tournament is the big thing and probably the greatest playoff field ever. I love it. I really do love it. Anything can happen. It's crazy. It's so crazy. And it just shows that with the fact that no one ever has picked a perfect bracket. No one ever. Because it's so hard to choose these upsets. It's amazing. It really is. So my answer there is lose early in the NCAA tournament. Number 2. Would I work once a week in a stadium of my rival's team, cleaning up their trash, listening to their fan base rip you apart, and all that good stuff, just for the Eagles, which would be my team of choice, obviously, to win the Super Bowl? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've never seen a Super Bowl. You're telling me I won't pick up trash at Dallas's stadium for 16 games? For my Birds to win a Super Bowl? Easy, I would do that. I'd do it for 7 seasons, 10 seasons. Absolutely, I would. And I hope Philly hears me on that. So, our third. Would you rather? Oh, okay, this is what it was. Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. Yes, I have notes. Who would you rather have pitching for your team in Game 7 of the World Series? R.A. Dickey. But he's on a smoking hot pitching streak. Smoking hot. And his knuckleball is untouchable. Or Randy Johnson in the form of killing birds with his 100-plus mile per hour pitches. That's crazy because that knuckleball is tough. And you're talking about him like at his absolute ceiling, if not more. But for some reason, I want to go Randy Johnson just because I have more faith in him. You know what I mean? Something about Randy Johnson. It's Randy Johnson. You know? I want him. I want him to be winning the World Series for the Philadelphia Phillies. Nah, but for real, both of them are going to be great options. I mean, that knuckleball is intense and will be pretty much demolishing hitters. I mean, there's no chance they touch it. But something about Randy Johnson just does it for me, so I'm going with Randy. Number 4. If I were Miami Heat, now this is when they had LeBron James. Would I rather have LeBron on my team? Would I rather have MJ from 1986 to 1990-ish? Or Shaq from 1993 to 1997-ish? This is what it said. I'm going to have to put my pride aside. Sadly. Sadly, I am. I'm going to have to go with Michael Jordan. This hurts me to say, but as a man, I respect my decision on not saying LeBron here. When it comes down to it, I don't want to say this. When it comes down to it, the rings factor in. Michael Jordan, people just won't give it up. And it's just Michael Jordan in his prime obviously was something serious. I mean, it was no joke. I feel the same way about LeBron, but when it comes down to it, I think I would pick MJ for this scenario as a Miami Heat franchise. Don't get me wrong. I love my boy LeBron. I'm just putting my pride aside on this answer because I think that's the right one. But I would pick LeBron over anyone ever. And I promise you that. Last one. If I was a part of the Cubs fan base before their recent World Series win, would I eat a full, uncooked goat to cure the city's curse? Duh. You want to know why? Because if I did that and I cured the curse and we won the World Series, wouldn't I be famous? I mean, wouldn't I be absolutely famous? Not only in the city of Chicago, but I would be all over SportsCenter. I'd be making money off of it. Absolutely, I would eat this uncooked full goat. Are you serious? How much money and fame that could bring? People would watch the sports podcast, maybe? How about that? So this is another segment of this or that / now sports hypotheticals. So let's move on to a little bit of college football. Some wild finishes, I'll tell you. And I miss that. And that's what I love about college football. It's a little bit more crazy and hectic than you get around the NFL. Now listen to this. UCLA versus Texas A&M. If you haven't seen this yet, it is absolutely ridiculous. One of the best comebacks ever. And I did just talk about the NFC Championship game, so this is up there. The only reason why it's not is because it's not playoffs. But quarterback, UCLA, Rosen, 491 yards, 4 touchdowns, all of them coming in the fourth quarter, and they win 45-44. 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He even fake spiked it around the goal line, threw a fade to the corner of the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. It was just absolutely wild. One of those college football games that are just beautiful. Beautiful. The fans are crazy. Just great intensity. It was awesome. It truly was awesome. And what a great way to end football. And then last night, Tennessee and Georgia Tech. Another great game. Seriously, another great game. Credit to both of these teams. It goes to double overtime. Tennessee blocked a game-winning field goal attempt after the coach was going nuts. Face was red, getting into the ref's face for missing a block from behind that led Georgia Tech downfield for a field goal opportunity. So Tennessee blocks the game-winning field goal after icing the kicker twice at the end of regulation. Now the commentators were talking. Do you call one, have one left, and then not call it to try and freak out the kicker when he's going in, like, oh, is he going to call it or not? Or do you just call both and really ice him? Well, apparently it worked, so I like the idea of calling one, having one in the back pocket, and then kind of freaking him out to see, if he's thinking about it in his head. So Georgia Tech's quarterback, Marshall, 5 touchdowns, 249 yards. At the end of the second overtime, Georgia Tech goes for 2. Do I like the play call? I think so. There's nothing to lose. Tennessee is ranked. Georgia Tech was not. Georgia Tech went for 2. The play call was a run by the quarterback, who already has 5 touchdowns. I like the play call. I like the decision. It's ballsy. You live with it. It's easy to say after, hey, we should have kicked it. It is. It's easy to say that. So, you know what? You go with pride. You trust your offense, who was really pushing it downfield. I do like it. It obviously didn't work out, and it's easy to say it was the wrong decision now. But I did. I liked the balls. I liked the balls on the coach for going for it. You live and die with it. It was a good call, though. It was. So he ends up, it was an option for the quarterback. He could have pitched it. He stayed with it. He got pummeled, threw it up to his receiver, and hit the ground. But the receiver kind of scooped it in, so it looked like he got it. But he was short by like a half a yard anyway. But so they didn't get it. And then Florida State loses their starting quarterback for the season. I feel horrible. Horrible. All that hard work, all that grind, getting ready for the season, and then week 1, your season's just over. I know how he feels. So last year, I'll tell a little story. Last year, we were a new starting organization here at school, D3 NCAA, down in a small school of Stevenson University in Maryland. A lot of kids came out, worked real hard all summer, really wanted to make the team. Ended up making the team. I'm a role player. I like to do all the dirty work, energy guy, kind of like a 6th man off the bench, takes charges, stuff like that. That's what I do hockey-wise. So I play the first game of the year, really excited about that. Then we have practice, and we're working on the power play and penalty kill. Energy guys, penalty kill, that's what we do. I tell my captain, who's my roommate, hit me with it. I dare you, just hit me with it. Just wanted to block some shots, get the boys going. So I do, with my thumb, and totally dislocates itself. Had to get 2 pins, surgery. This is coming right after the first game of the year, which I made the lineup, which was exciting. And then I lost 13 games, didn't touch the ice for a good 3 months, and it was devastating. It was kind of a mental battle, and I had to face some adversity, which I never really have before, because I've never been injured, and from about when I was 8 or 9 to now when I'm last year, which was my freshman year in college. So no, I get it. I feel horrible when you see something like that, especially now that I went through it. It's tough. It is tough, but it makes you stronger. It truly does make you stronger. So that is where we're at now. I'm going to kind of wrap things up a little bit. I just wanted to throw a couple little baseball things out there. Justin Verlander went to the Houston Astros. If that doesn't bring them to the next level, I mean, obviously it does, but I'm talking the next level. I think they can do it. Dodgers are kind of in a slump right now. Just saying, Diamondbacks won 10 straight. Actually, J.D. Martinez hits 4 home runs last night. More rare than a perfect game. 18th player ever to do it. 4 home runs in one game. Sheesh. But yeah, I just wanted to throw a couple little MLB things out there because it's big news, but I didn't have a whole segment on baseball, but we will obviously do that in the future. So I think I'm actually going to wrap this episode up. Another great episode. I'm huge into the whole YouTube thing now. Also still on iTunes. Make sure you check out Sports R Philly at Sports R Philly on Twitter and their website at www.sportsrphilly.com for a great blog. You can follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes. I am now also on YouTube. You can look me up there. You can call into the show. First time in a while I haven't put any callers in, but it's unique, and I would love for people to call in. It makes it interesting and some really nice questions out there. We're also working on a big giveaway. It's in the works, and also a whole new filming situation. My roommate in school is a film major, so we are working on some cool things. So to call in, use your voice recording app. Send it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. And we will be back after the first game of NFL season. So I am excited for that episode. And I want to log off here. So thank you everyone so much. Hit the subscribe button. And I will be back. Thank you.